Hey everyone. Welcome back to another amazing video, unedited, by yours truly. So, what I wanted to talk about today, and just a disclaimer if you haven't seen my last video on alopecia areata that I have now been officially diagnosed with, you might see me, if I continue to make these videos, you might see me sort of like wearing different things that make me feel the most comfortable at the moment. Cosmetically, it's kind of hard for people to see what's going on with my hair right now. It's super easy for me to conceal, but my hair is falling out a lot, and I don't like that. Like, I don't like finding the hair. I don't like experiencing the hair loss in real time. Here's like a fun one that just came out right now. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now there's like a bunch of them coming out. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll like ball it up if you want to like see the evidence. So my hair is long, and it just, if I run my fingers through it, I think that it's kind of accelerated the speed of which it's falling out. There's like about 10 strands in my hair that I got out from just running my fingers through it, and that kind of happens every time I run my fingers through it. So it is falling out a lot more than it was a few days ago. I wonder if stress is actually related to it, because I have been really stressed the last few days, mainly because of the alopecia. I got a diagnosis on Friday, and I thought that getting the diagnosis would like help me feel better, but it didn't really. It kind of like made me feel a little bit worse. And I've just like noticed a few of my like eyelashes and eyebrow hairs coming out too, which can also happen with alopecia. No hair on your body is safe from alopecia. So I'm really trying to de-stress, because I think for me specifically, I'm noticing a parallel between stress and the disorder. But the reason why I wanted to come on today isn't because of the alopecia, because my life is still happening, and I don't want every single video that I make to be about alopecia. I think I'm going to do updates on a diet shift. So I think I was discussing in my last video how I've dealt with a lot of disordered eating stuff over the years, and a diet shift probably isn't, an extreme diet shift probably isn't the right choice for me as an individual, even though, you know, certain people have seen wonders through just changing their diet, but I want to try to go gluten-free. That is my goal. I think it should be doable. I think that I'm already, in general, from, you know, as many diets and things as I've been on, I'm always wary of carbs in general. Gluten-free does not mean carb-free. I can still have carbs from vegetables and fruits, and I can also have carbs from, sorry, I'm like distracted by like picking out here. I can also have carbs from rice and that kind of a thing. So I need to like figure out everything that is gluten. I know that that limits my alcohol choices, but you can still drink alcohol. They make a gluten-free beer, but like I don't even like beer that much, so I can definitely drink whatever doesn't have gluten. I think a lot of liquor doesn't have gluten in it, so I have a lot of options being gluten-free. It like seems like a doable diet, so that's what I'm going to try and we'll see what happens. Again, I think that like I'm noticing a lot more hair loss with stress specifically, so I am going to definitely work on my stress levels to the ability that I can, and that is kind of where I'm at. And that means like that like actually brings us to the thing that I sort of wanted to touch on briefly today, which is about certain relationships in your life and keeping certain friendships. So I'm a person who I tend to like collect friends, and I am proud about having a number of friends, like very, I would say like intimate friendships. It's something that I pride myself on, that like I won't ever just be relying on one person. I'll be distributing out my needs among like an entire community, and I'm hoping to kind of provide that back to folks, because in the society that we live in, it's just like really important that we are all there for each other, given how much isolation and loneliness and that kind of a thing people experience in the Western world, and with our current job market where a lot of jobs are moving into being remote and that kind of a thing. But in thinking about kind of stress reduction and really prioritizing stress reduction in kind of like a way that I've never done before, because I've never been able to see the results of it happening externally. I've kind of, known, oh, my blood pressure is a little bit higher, that kind of a thing, but that's something that's kind of easy to ignore because it's happening internally. When you actually are, observing excessive hair loss, when you're getting bald patches, I think that is definitely something that is raising more red flags for me, because I really want to be able to manage it. I want to like wrap my head around it. I want to feel like I am doing everything that I can to limit or to reduce hair loss. And like I said in my last video about alopecia, of course, we don't know all of the reasons, any of the reasons like why alopecia happens. There have been so many research studies, there are like clinical trials, like ongoing clinical trials going on, that like certain people see regrowth and success with, and certain people don't, and with certain people it's like obviously linked to stress, and with other people it's not. And I don't deal with stress super well. I've been not dealing with stress super well for a really long time, and if I could have chosen a time in my life when I was the most stressed out ever, and when it would have made more sense for me to lose my hair, it probably would have been like in college or something like that, but that's not where we are today. So I can do a ton of guesswork about like what relationship or what event or what stressor kind of like triggered all of this for me, but I don't know what it is. But I am kind of like seeing the connection, especially just today with the amount of hair I've already lost today. I've already lost probably like 500 hairs today, and just like seeing that happen in real time, I want to prevent it if I can. So anyway, okay, so relationships. I have decided that if somebody is kind of a point of a lot of stress in my life, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm supporting a friend because they're going through a hard time or something like that. I'm talking about like consistently, like there is just something not working. It's like fitting like a square into a circle. Like we just cannot figure it out. We're getting angry with each other a lot. I'm going to try to limit contact with those people in my life. I don't currently have anyone in my life like that. Currently, I would say, like, there are people in my life who I used to have kind of issues with that I no longer do, and that kind of a thing. But I would say that I don't currently have anybody who I'm like currently like battling with or warring with on a regular basis. Recently I had a friend who I thought of as like one of my best friends ever. Like, I thought about this person as a family member, basically tell me that he has never thought about me the way that I've thought about him, and that he was just kind of hanging out with me because I would reach out to him and he felt obligated. And he never let me know that I thought that he thought of me as family as well. And he kind of clarified that he didn't, and that he did not really want a friendship from me. He just wanted to know kind of every once in a while that I was still alive. His words, not mine. So hearing that from somebody who I considered like a close family member was like hard, because it kind of came out of nowhere. And of course, like, we have a history, so like, you know, it's not like an unbelievable scenario, but it was also like, you know, I wish I had known about this a year ago, or you know, a while over a year ago, 2 years ago, or whenever, you know, like, it would have made sense so that I would, you know, stop reaching out to you or stop trying to have you as a friend if you didn't want that friendship. And so that was like a strange situation for me, because that's an example of I don't really know like who is the toxic person there. Like, it's kind of like an example of just like misinformation happening. So it was just kind of confusing for me. But dealing with this alopecia now, I'm kind of in like a mindset that that's like, well, it's for the best. Like, you know, whatever, there are so many people in the world, and I really value my friends, and it would suck to lose any of them. But if me being in your life is like stressing me out, by all means, like, let me know, we can work on it, or like we can kind of move on from each other, because life is really short and your body does react really strongly to stressors. And I think your friends and your family should not be stressors in your life. Like, I think it makes sense that when you're supporting other people, of course, like, that's going to expend energy and emotional labor, and that's going to be a source of stress, but it shouldn't be like this like huge burden. It shouldn't be an undue amount of stress. I think that's definitely a sign that something is not working in that relationship at that point. So that's just something I've been thinking about recently, and like really focusing on, like, you know, letting go of the things that I can't control, which is of course easier said than done. But in terms of toxic relationships, or just relationships not really working, I think I just feel more and more strongly that like we have to let each other go if we're not working for each other, because our lives are so precious, and we're so vulnerable, like everyone is. So that's just my general thought for the day. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that if you are dealing with hair loss of any kind, if you are dealing with alopecia areata and patchy baldness, I definitely think that removing stress is probably a good thing. I think it's probably a good thing regardless, but those are kind of the two things that I'm focusing on right now. In addition to, you know, I'm gonna get whatever treatment the dermatologist recommends. Sorry that my camera, my phone keeps going out of focus. I'll like take a look at that. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It must be like the setting that I have it on. But I'm going to focus on trying to be gluten-free. I'm going to focus on stress reduction where I can, and just reaching out to people and receiving support and working on new hairstyles and things that make me feel more comfortable, so I don't have to like see my hair physically falling out all day. So that's kind of where I'm at. I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll check in with you all soon.